woman of God, for being on the show with us on today. I'm going to pull back just for a second because I kind of want to introduce you and get the people ready for you to come forth. So hold on just a second. Okay, hold on. So yes, y'all, we have a beautiful guest on today. I'm super excited about it. Will y'all please share this video because this is going to be a really great interview on today. We're talking about the five-time bestseller author, visionary author, motivational speaker, advocate for sexual and domestic violence collaborator, and CEO and founder of Beautiful Integrated with Love LLC, Self Love Redefined, Emotional Wound Care, and Expert. Come on, y'all. This coach right here is here to educate us on today. So, y'all share as much as possible to your family, friends, and those that like to get on. Because, listen, this woman of God, Dr. Wendy Rhodes, is going to be talking about wound care. Not only is she someone who specializes in the expert of wound care, but she actually knows about these type of things in the spirit realm, the spiritual aspect of it, and how come we are feeling like we're feeling and going through what we're going through in the spirit realm as well. So she's going to be educating us on that. And if y'all have any questions, this is why we're doing this. So if y'all have any questions for the woman of God, we're going to be opening it up for you all to ask questions. So y'all make sure if y'all are on Facebook. This is on Facebook. Y'all comment. Y'all let us see your comments. So let me open my comments up. So if y'all can say, hello, hey, Queen. Let me know that you're here so we can go ahead and open up a dialogue on today. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can be able to communicate. So y'all go ahead and share this video. We want as many people as possible to get on and get this information. Listen, we're not going to keep this to ourselves. So y'all go ahead and share. Go ahead and get as many people to come on. We are on break right now. And while you're on your lunch break, go ahead and tune in on Facebook to listen to this woman of God. But if you missed it, it's okay, because guess what? It is airing live on YouTube as well and LinkedIn. So if you have a LinkedIn account, you can go ahead and watch it on LinkedIn as well if you're on LinkedIn, just in case. So we're putting it out there. So go ahead and share to as many of your family, friends. Go ahead and tag them, send them something on Messenger and things like that. Okay, so we can get it in on today. We want to make sure that if you have any questions that you have pertaining to wound care, and have you had any wounds? Have you ever had surgery? Have you ever been hurting in pain and you had to go in to go get emergency care, had to get someone to care for you? You couldn't really care for yourself, right? So we're talking about wound care. We're talking about somebody that also says these are things that take place in the spirit realm. We're talking about you start having infections, blistering up, and it start oozing everywhere. You're talking about bleeding all over everybody, need spiritual healing, and hey, you just never know what this woman of God may have in her pocket. She may have some information regarding inflammation, swelling, things like that. I don't know. I'm just super excited about it. I know y'all can tell I'm excited. I get excited when I have guests to come on that can educate me as well. So I'm learning with you all today. So I will be your spokesperson for you to ask questions. So if you have any questions for the woman of God on today, make sure you comment on Facebook. I'm going to be paying attention. I'm going to be watching, looking to see your comments. So make sure you ask. So if you will, let us know where you're from, who you are, and then ask any questions. Okay, make sure you go ahead and share this page. So now we're getting ready to bring on the coach, wound care coach and expert, Dr. Wendy Rhodes.
Oh my goodness. Hello.
Glad to have you on. Yes, listen, Doctor. I'm excited about it. So, I had to hype it up. I had to get it where they can come on in, chime in, and they can send their friends on because we need to know this stuff, right? So I got someone that said hello, Queen. So we got somebody on. Somebody is well today and they're live and they're saying something. So we want to make sure they continue asking questions. And as often as I can, I am going to check Facebook to see what comments they have for you, Dr. Wendy, because we want to ask questions on today. So we want to talk about this coaching that you're doing now with your business and the wound care, because listen, you're not just someone who specializes, and you did this stuff for 20 years, so you have a long, you have a long history of wound care and things like that. So it's not just something that we get only in the hospital. We get care from you in the hospital, but you specialize in this stuff, and you also tap into it in the spirit realm. So I'm excited about it, because a lot of us walking around wounded. A lot of us,
Yes,
we walking around hurting. We're doing stuff, and I know for myself, I'm gonna talk about me. I've done some stuff and was wounded. You know what I'm saying? And I was up here
yes,
hurting other people, not knowing that, baby girl, queen, you need some healing, and it's okay. You know what I'm saying?
that's
Like,
right.
been injured in some capacity, whether it was our fault, somebody else's fault, but you still need help, and it's okay.
That's
So
right. That is
today,
right.
Coach Wendy, we want to talk about the wound care, emotional wound care that people need, especially get them to a better place, because we don't realize that our emotions, because you know how they say emotions make you cry sometimes. Remember that song, emotions make you cry sometimes? Come on. So we sometimes the emotions, you crying, sometimes you're sad, you're happy, you're mad, and then it's like 1 minute, like why are you like you got all these different emotions going on, but we have triggers too. And we don't know what is causing these things, because you got wounds, you got things that's going on that needs to be healed.
That's
So
right.
today
Yeah, that is so
we're gonna
true.
we're gonna talk about the emotional wound care. So, Coach, help us out on today regarding what made you get into this field? Let's start there.
Well, first off, what made me get into this field was the fact that I had been wounded. And
Mm-hmm.
my wounds started at an early age. I was a teenager when
Right.
my official wounds first started.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it started out as a teenager. I was raped at 14 by four guys,
Wow.
and I had my first child at 15, and then I end up in a relationship at 16 that started with domestic violence. And so, as a teenager, just going through all of those different traumas that lasted for years and years, and you don't know who you are. Everything that you thought that you were able to do in your life, or I never even really got to the point where I even thought about what I really wanted to do and who I really wanted to be when I was, when I was an adult or whatever. But I was really smart, and the first trauma that happened kind of ripped that away from me. That was pretty
Mm,
much ripped away from me. So,
right.
that was the start of it, is having
Right.
these old emotional wounds from the rape and from domestic violence, and not having a voice, or even
Right.
feeling like you even have a mind of your own.
Right.
Because when you go through those things, it's a control thing. When people
Right.
control your life and you have no control over anything, you're
Right.
just so lost. And
Right.
so over the years, because I had lost my relationship with God early in my life, I lost my relationship. I didn't trust anybody. Trust was just
Mm,
not there. And my life was a secret. So
right.
it was like I was dying on the inside. And then eventually, God showed me himself, and I started learning more about God, and I wanted to know, and I wanted to be in his presence. I wanted to know everything there was to know about God. And God showed me about healing, and even having a therapist, even coming, just having a therapist helped me, because the therapist helped me to dig, to find those areas that I never even talked about. It gave me the courage to talk about it, gave me an opening to even say, I'm hurt. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know what to do. I don't know what to do with these emotions. I don't know if I should yell, scream, whatever. But it
Right.
already takes a lot to get away from your abuser or your offender or whatever. It took a long time to get away from them. But at the same time, once I was able to heal from my wounds, I realized that it was a spiritual thing. It
Mm.
was nothing natural about it. It
Right.
was all spiritual. Once you discover who you are in God, who
Mm-hmm.
God says that you are,
On.
that makes all the difference in the world.
All the difference.
Because when your life is defined by
Mm.
what has happened to you, your traumas,
Right.
then you don't have nowhere to turn because that's what you feel of yourself.
Mm.
You're not even able to look in the mirror and love that person that's looking back
Woo.
at you.
Come on.
You're not able to
Right.
love that person
Jesus.
because that person is lost. They're not even there anymore.
Right. Right. Right.
They're not there. So they're lost.
Right.
So the birth of self love redefined came
Mm.
from that. That was
Come
the birth of
on.
self love redefined. Because once I
I love
started
it.
healing, the
Mm-hmm.
healing started on the inside
Come
and it
on.
had to spew out some kind of way. And
Come
God
on.
told me to look in the mirror and tell him, what do I see?
What do I see? Come on.
I didn't know what the heck I saw.
Come
I'm
on.
not going to kid you.
Mm.
I didn't know what I saw.
Right.
But what I started liking, I started
Mm.
liking first what I saw.
Right.
Then I started falling in love with what I saw.
Right.
I started
Right.
falling in love with that.
Mm.
And I started writing out these little affirmations
Mm-hmm.
and I had them on sticky notes all over my mirror.
Mm-hmm.
I did that.
Right.
And on the sticky note says, you are beautiful.
Come
You
on.
are fearfully and wonderfully made.
Come on.
And it was like, you are loved, you are loving, you are confident,
Mm.
and all of
Come
this
on.
stuff. You say that enough, it got to get deep down in there
Come on.
somewhere.
Come on. It's got to come. It's got to penetrate. Come on.
Yeah, if you say it enough, you're going to have to believe it.
Come on.
You have to believe it.
Come on.
But I'll tell you, this is more like a rebranding here,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
of this right here with the wound care coach and expert, the emotional wound care coach and expert.
Mm-hmm.
This was like a rebranding.
Right.
I was already doing coaching under just self-love redefined, just a transformational coach. That's what I was doing before.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was doing that before, I had stopped working for a little while. Then God had me to go back to work. But when
Mm-hmm.
I went back to work, my focus was more on wound care
Right.
when I went back. But God started showing me, He has this way of showing you in increments who
Come
you
on.
are. Because if He show you too much,
Right. Right.
He
Right.
show you too much, you go in the other direction. You're like, I ain't doing that.
I
Like, but I'll tell you,
know.
it's
Uh-huh.
weird because He started showing me how I really truly have the gift of healing. What we
Right.
don't understand is
Mm-hmm.
spiritually who we are. We are one with Christ.
Come on.
We are one with Christ.
Come
We
on.
have the power that He has given us. The power is in us,
Come
but
on.
we don't understand. Each
Yeah.
one of us were designed to do certain things in life. There is a blueprint attached to each and every last one of us.
Come
There
on.
is a blueprint. My blueprint says that He has placed me here to
Come on.
help set the captives free.
Come on.
That's a part of my blueprint. Anointed, appointed, and authorized to do it.
Come on. Come on.
And that's what He has placed inside of me.
Come on.
But when I started back doing wound care, I started getting into these stages.
Mm-hmm.
But I wrote all of this stuff down. And
Right.
I prayed and I said, God, you want me to redo this business that I feel like was failing.
Come
But
on.
my disclaimer on the failure is that failure is not a failure until you flat out don't do nothing.
Come
That's
on.
when it's a failure.
Come
That's when
on.
you don't do nothing. That's when it has failed. But you
Woo.
take the things that did work,
Mm-hmm.
obedience,
Come on.
you take that part that did work and
Mm-hmm.
you say, God, what do you want me to do with what you have given me?
Come
What
on.
do you want me to do with that? And
Mm,
so I prayed about it, and I was going to be speaking at a conference.
mm,
Like literally the day before the conference, a day or two before the conference, I had prayed about it, and I asked God, I said, you want me to do this, you're gonna have to send somebody to help me, because like, but you know what does God word say? Let us reason together.
come on.
Let us reason together. Look here, God, now.
Uh,
You put all of this stuff in my lap and you want me to do something with it. You put this in my lap. What you want me to do with it? He said, I have shown you what you have. What do he
mhm.
say? Use what you have in your hand. What do you have in your hand?
What? Come on.
What do you have in your hand? I have this wisdom. I have this knowledge. I have the
Mhm.
gift of healing that he showed
Mm,
and exposed me to it
come
and
on.
walked me in it and walked me through that thing.
Jesus.
It was like one patient at a time, little at a time, that he was showing me certain things. I was like,
Mm,
whoa, wait a minute.
whoa.
And one example is this one patient that I had whose
Mhm.
feet were messed up. Like he
Right,
had
right, right.
sores, like it was necrosis. It was a mess and it stinked real bad.
Uh-huh. Mhm.
And I felt bad because it was like everything that I tried was not working. But you
Mm,
understand the word is everything that I tried.
come on.
There's a difference.
There's a difference.
Everything that I tried, and see, it's important to include
Mm,
God in our decisions,
right.
include God in the steps that we're making, and the challenges. How do
Come
you
on.
sit on something that you're having a problem with and don't take it to God? How dare you?
Woo. Wow.
I said, God, what do
Mm,
I do? I don't
right.
know, because I've never had that much of an issue with something not healing or not even trying to make an effort to heal.
Wow.
The difference was taking it to God.
Jesus.
That was the difference. It's taking it to God and talking to God about it. God, what do I do?
What do
I
I
don't
do?
know what to do. This is
Right.
embarrassing. Oh my God, this is awful. And I'm
Come on.
like, the family looking at me and the facility
Mm,
looking at me like,
come
girl,
on.
what you doing? What are you going to do?
Right.
And I prayed about it. I walked to the patient's room. As I walked in the room, I wasn't even all the way through the door yet.
Mm,
And I started weeping. When
mhm.
I tell you them tears was like waterfalls falling
Mm,
down my face, I have never experienced anything like that before in my life.
come on.
Waterfalls. Just turn the faucet on and just put it on my face.
It's just,
It was like waterfall, and you could just feel it. And I
mm,
was like, I've never felt that before. And I said, okay, something else going on here.
come on.
But got closer, as I got closer to the patient, he's like, Senorita, don't cry. Don't
Mm,
cry. And I just started saying to him, I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
come
And he
on.
just kept saying, don't cry.
Don't cry.
Don't cry. And as I was unwrapping his feet, and
Mm.
I'm praying over his feet in my heavenly language, but I'm weeping.
Woo! Jesus.
As I start unwrapping his feet and I started treating it, then God said,
Mhm.
every day,
Every day.
every day. So every day I came in with the same treatment,
Mm-hmm. Mm.
unwrap, pray over
Come on.
his feet.
Pray. Right.
Within a week, within a week,
Come on.
you couldn't tell that his feet looked like that within a week.
Come on.
What God showed me is this is what you carry.
Come on.
This is what you carry. And I want you to take the stages of healing, the stages of the wounds. Like a stage one is like redness and it's just really on the surface. But when we look at ourselves and the stage ones that we go through, which is the equivalent of a closed spirit, I might say, because a stage one is a closed wound, but it's red.
Wow. Okay.
It's a closed wound, but it's red.
Mm.
But when you think about it, when you go through anger,
Mm.
bitterness,
Right.
rejection,
Mm.
shame, guilt, those things are all closed.
Wow.
but you act out a lot of times.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You can see shame,
Mm-hmm.
you can see guilt, you can
Mm.
see bitterness,
Right.
you can see anger, but it's not open for you to see what it is,
Right.
what's underneath it, what's under the surface. We don't
Mm.
see it because it's not open and it's not exposed.
Come on.
It's not exposed, and it makes a difference.
Right.
It's not exposed. But when you go to your stage two
Jesus.
wound, your
Mm-hmm.
stage two, that's a wounded spirit.
Whoo.
That's a wounded spirit.
Come
A
on.
stage two, it's partial thickness. So you got the skin is open, it's broken.
Right.
The skin is broken. But this is where you'll see emotional and mental issues. The emotional and the mental traumas of it all. This is where you see that.
Come on.
That even may even come from your mama, your daddy now. You
Mm.
don't even know.
Right. Right.
I'm
Right.
just gonna go through the stages and then we
Mm.
can kind of go from there if you want to.
Come on. Come
Stage
on.
three is a broken spirit.
Mm.
A broken spirit is full thickness.
Come
This
on.
is it exposes the tissue.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you'll see, get this, alcoholism,
Mm-hmm.
drug abuse,
Mm-hmm.
and prostitution. Yes, even prostitution.
My God.
You know I couldn't make this stuff up.
Come on.
This is all God. This is all God. This is all God. All God. When you have a broken spirit
Mm.
and you have gone through alcoholism or you're addicted to drugs, alcoholic, or even a prostitute, no one trusts you.
Right. Right. Right.
Even when
Right.
you trying to get it together
Come
and you
on.
go to your family,
Mm.
they don't trust you.
Right.
So even when you need them the most, your spirit is broken. But they need help too.
They need help.
They need help too.
We need help.
A
Good
stage
God
four is
Almighty.
a crushed spirit.
Mm.
It's a crushed spirit. You
Mm.
already know what falls in this category right here. When
Mm.
somebody take advantage of you and you don't see it coming, that person that was sweet to you, 14-year-old me,
Come
sweet to
on.
you, you don't see it coming, rape,
Come
sexual
on.
assault,
Mm.
domestic violence,
Mm-hmm.
molestation,
Mm-hmm.
incest,
Jesus.
that crushes your spirit.
Yes, it does. Oh, wow.
But a stage four is the one that goes all the way down to the bone.
Oh, good God Almighty.
Can you imagine what it takes to heal from the
Man,
inside out, from the bone?
from the bone.
First off, when you're talking about people that have been raped, molested, different things like that, they hide that stuff.
Oh, yeah, we can hide it well.
They hide it. And the spirit is so crushed. It's so crushed because of that. It's crushed. And to try to heal from that, the amount of therapy that takes, the amount of prayer that takes, the amount of admitting things, the
Mm.
amount of forgiveness, the
Good
things that we forget about that need to be dealt with in the process of what you went through. You go through all of these things and you need to be healed from it. I'm going to tell you the truth about me. I've gone through every one of these stages except for alcoholism. And, I went through my little bout as a teenager of doing
Okay.
little stuff. But,
Right,
we all
right.
go through our little
Oh,
stuff.
yeah, oh, yeah.
But going through these right here, it took a lot. It took
Mm.
a lot. even as a mother, when you go through the domestic violence, you go through the sexual assault, you're overprotective of your daughters, very overprotective of your daughters. Your sons too, but more your daughters. But when you go through all of that, and
Mm,
even once they become an adult, you question yourself as a mother.
yeah,
You question yourself, was I even there enough for them?
right.
Was I just going through the motions?
You about to make me cry.
Was I even giving them all that I could give them to help them to succeed in life? Did I give them enough of me? Was I even present? I questioned all of that. But all of that is the emotional healing that I needed. I needed that emotional healing.
Right.
I had to go back. When God started healing me, my biggest release came from writing in the book, Blessed Not Broken, the journey to healing, where
Mm-mm-mm.
I actually had exposed my rape.
Come on.
It took 39 years, 39, 40 years, just about 30 something years
Mm.
for me to even tell, to say anything.
Wow.
I was 49 years old when I
Oh,
finally told about my
come
rape.
on.
So, how much
Yes.
dying on the inside did I have to endure?
Mm.
How much dying, how much pretending did I
Mm.
have to do?
Right.
It's a lot of pretending that happens. It's a whole lot of pretending. But once you start healing, you go through the process.
Right.
You start realizing you are not your trauma.
Wow.
You are not your trauma. Everything that God gave me, and He sent my help, which was Doreen Let's Him Read.
Come on. Come on, Coach
And she
Doreen.
got that unlock what's inside of you.
Come on.
God said, give it to her.
Give it to her.
It was a challenge because you want to do everything yourself. And
Right.
God said she got what you need.
Come on.
And because of going through so many things, you just be like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to trust her with that.
Right. Right.
But if God tells you to trust the process,
Come on.
what they say, go take you several seats and trust the process and do what God tell you to do. Obedience is better than sacrifice. So I was obedient and I gave it to her. And she's been able to unlock that thing.
Right.
She's been able to really help me to rebrand, relaunch, bring, you know,
Mm.
all of this.
Right.
Yeah, she's
I
able to
have,
do that.
so
Mhm.
I have a question from the woman of God. She said, how can we free our bodies of childhood trauma? How can we free
Ooh.
our bodies when you've been through something as a child and that thing is deep? You know how you say we 49, 40 years old and we don't carry
Mhm.
that thing from a child and we have carried with us, we've covered it up, and
Yes.
now it's time for us to free that thing of our body so that, because I know that, like, we may experience like inflammation, we may experience like, how when you carry so much, it's all in your belly, you wonder why, because we say, oh, that's, most women carry fat in their tummies. It could be something from,
What they
you
say, stress raises cortisol that sits right in your belly.
you know what I'm saying? Yes. And so that may, and it also could be a condition of your heart because you don't forgive.
That's right.
How do you discreet that stuff? How do you get that stuff out, from the time you was a child? How do we get rid of that?
Ain't that so funny? That is the one stage I didn't even talk about.
Right.
And that was my unstageable wound.
Oh,
Unstageable. That's the equivalent of a blinded spirit.
Mm.
This is the discovery zone.
Okay.
Discovery zone. And when you're dealing with an unstageable wound, you find out where it came from. Was
Right.
it hereditary? Was it a
Right.
generational curse? Was it because you had mommy daddy issues?
Right.
All of this stuff comes in there.
Right.
But to free ourselves, I'm 51 years old now. At that time, I was 49. At 49, I had to go back to that
Ah.
14-year-old me.
Whew.
The 14-year-old me that didn't cry about what happened. The 14-year-old me that blamed myself.
Yes.
The 14-year-old me that was ashamed.
Come on.
The 14-year-old me that was guilty, that
Come
felt
on.
guilt
That's
and
so guilty.
shame.
Right.
Prayer changes things.
Right.
What God had me to do, and I have to put myself in this position because 14 is a child. That's a teenager, but that's a
Yes.
child.
Yes.
I was able to write out everything that happened to me during that time in my
Come
life.
on.
And God said, write it all down
Write it all
and
down.
give it to me.
Mm.
As I was writing, I was weeping at the same time.
Mm.
But it wasn't your regular, ordinary weep. It wasn't a regular, ordinary weep. It
Mm.
was that deep down, ugly cry.
Come on.
That deep down, ugly cry.
Mm.
Because God said, if you sit before me
Come on.
and you write this stuff down,
Mm-hmm.
you are releasing because you've been holding on to it for so long.
Come on.
You've been holding on to it for so long.
Right.
And as I was weeping, I was that 14-year-old girl. At 49, I was the 14-year-old girl,
Come on.
literally. And I don't understand if you guys get it what I just said. I was 49,
Uh-huh.
but I was sitting in the place of a 14-year-old me
Come on. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
that went through a list
Mm-hmm.
of saying, I forgive this person.
Right.
I
Mm-hmm.
forgive that
That's it.
person.
Yes.
I forgive this.
That's
I
it.
forgive that. I forgive
Mm-hmm.
this because I
Yes.
had blamed myself for being at the wrong place. I
Right.
blame
Right.
myself for certain
Yes.
things.
Freeing yourself. Come on.
But let me tell you,
Come on.
it's not freeing enough to just forgive them
Mm.
because I had forgot all about me.
Ah,
I
somebody better
had to
type that
forgive
in.
myself.
Come on. Had to forgive
I
yourself.
had to forgive myself.
Come on.
I had to forgive myself. If I
Mm-mm-mm.
didn't forgive myself, it
Mm.
still would be dangling around saying that I blame myself for everything that
Right.
happened to me. And that was not fair to the 14-year-old me
Come
that
on.
never cried.
Right.
On top of that, not even being able to tell my mother, which is a loving mother,
Mm.
very loving. She was
Right.
the disciplinarian. The choice that I made not to tell her was the brain of a 14-year-old that was saying, oh, shoot, I'm coming in this lady house late. Street lights
Mm-hmm.
was on. But it wasn't her fault because she's a disciplinarian. But if I didn't share it with her, how can she help me?
Right.
Knowing that she would have helped me.
Mm.
And I had to ask her
Come
for
on.
forgiveness for not allowing her to help me. I
Mm.
deprived her of the opportunity
Yes.
to help her child that was
Come on.
hurting at the
Yes.
time.
Jesus.
She gonna ride or die for hers. I ain't gonna lie. I know this little lady ain't, but but she gonna ride or die for hers. But I didn't tell her. She had to find out 2 weeks before a book was printed. I had to call her. Hey, it's a conversation we gotta have, like, and not telling her. So the answer to dealing with the childhood traumas is you gotta face them. We gotta face them. We gotta face it. And we cannot face it alone. It's not you alone that can free up the childhood traumas. It's not you alone. It's all about that relationship with God. Being able to release. And it makes all the difference in the world of being able to release. Release and forgive. Not only them, but yourself is so important. It's so important to forgive yourself in the process. It's very important to forgive yourself. See, this emotional wound care coaching is based off of Isaiah 61, 1-3. And I'm going to read it. I'll never be able to read it off right off the bat, but I'm going to read it over this up here because I want to make sure I got these words right. Because
Okay.
it's based off of Isaiah 61, 1-3. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord hath anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He hath sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that are mourning, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them what? Beauty for ashes.
Hey.
The oil of joy for
Come
mourning. The garment of praise. Garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness, that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord, that he might be glorified. I see myself in this. The brokenhearted. When I looked in the mirror and thought I was ugly.
Come on.
Beauty for ashes. Let me tell you what my beauty for ashes really are. My rape, my domestic violence. God is so good.
Yes,
Let me tell you, he's so good to the point that my rape and my domestic violence does not feel real. And it's not because I'm pretending. It's because I'm healed.
You healed.
Not only am I healed, what happened to me don't even seem like a movie. It just don't even seem real, but I know that it's real because I've been freed. Because the chains have been broken.
Hey, God.
The chains have been broken. Because when you hold on to it, you're linked. You're bound.
Come on.
But according to Isaiah 61, he has anointed, appointed, and authorized me to help set the captives free.
Hey, God.
That is the very reason why women are given a safe and confidential space.
Come on. That's right.
To heal from these emotional traumas.
Right.
The acronym for wound is
come on.
Women overcoming unresolved issues with necessity and determination. Women overcoming unresolved issues with necessity and determination. We're women. We're going to overcome. The issues were unresolved, but they will be resolved once you make it a necessity and you're determined to heal by it. And understand that you are not your trauma. You're not your trauma.
Come on.
You are not your trauma.
You are
I
not your.
don't care what name they done put on you. I
Mhm.
don't care what kind of stereotype. I don't care what you used to look like back in the day. I don't
Mhm.
care what relationship you in now. God can change that too.
Right.
Transform, transition. Through my program, you're going to transform your mind.
Come on.
You're going to transform your mind. You're going to transition from a place of stagnation and fear, because when you continue to allow this stuff to fester,
Mm-hmm.
you're stagnant.
Come on. Wow.
And God gives us peace. He promises us peace. So that's that tranquility and peace that God gives us. That's what you want. That's what you want. You can't look at your trauma like this is what defines me. Oh, girl,
Right.
you know I was raped. Oh,
Right.
girl, you know he beat me. You told Hoppo to beat me. I don't know why they came
You laugh so bad.
up. You told Hoppo to beat me.
Ooh, you gotta laugh at it. You gotta
Let me
laugh at it.
tell
Come
you,
on.
by the time I was done with my relationship that I was going through that, I felt like Miss Celie, when I tell you Miss Celie had pulled out that knife and she put that knife on that table. Let me tell you something. Joker, you ain't gonna never,
Never,
ever put them
ever.
paws on me no more. Let me tell you something.
Oh, goodness.
Shoot, I'm telling you. I think God has a way of getting you away from your offenders. But I
Right,
have to tell you that I had lost my relationship with God.
right.
And it was right at the peak of my abuse
Mm,
that God showed himself strong in my life.
right.
He said, I'm sick of my daughter going through this,
I know that's right. My
but
baby. Come on.
I want her to pay attention and I want her to hear my voice.
Hey, God.
I'm in a car with my abuser, in a car. I mean, getting beat down, honey. Like, I mean, I don't mean to make them sounds, but I'm just saying. It's the sounds for me, right? They say it's the sounds for me.
Okay. I love the humor.
But
Uh,
when God said, jump and I'll catch you,
come on.
wasn't nobody else in that car.
Mm,
No, this joker wasn't saying it.
I know that's right.
Jump and I'll catch you.
In a
Look
moving car.
here. I'm like, jump where? Now the car going 45 miles an hour. Jump and I'll catch you.
Mm,
Jump and I'll catch you. Just open the door and jump out, and I will catch you. Get down there to the main street. And I said, okay, here goes. I opened that door. I jumped out of that car and I landed on a bed of glass where somebody had broke the a bus shelter. And the bus shelter, that glass is real thick because it's supposed to endure the wind and all of that. And so I landed on a bed of glass. I only had like this little bitty bruise right here. Little bitty bruise. Little bruise on the side of my leg. Not nothing major. The bruises that I had that were big was from him doing stuff to me in the car.
Mm,
Girl, I took off running in the middle of the street like I was a $6 million man. Like in the middle of the street at the height of rush hour. And I was like, you know what?
mm,
I want that.
mm.
If God saved me like that,
Come on.
and that's just a little thing, that's not even, that's a little thing for him.
Right.
He just said, let me pull her up out of this right quick.
Come on.
And then from that point on, I was in a restaurant and a man walked through the door. And see, this shows you right here that God really got something for you. When you sitting down in a restaurant and you see a man come through the door and you see the light around him,
Oh, wow.
it was an angel
Come on.
that came straight to my table.
Mm-hmm.
So people don't understand the supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
People just don't understand how God really truly works in your life and
Right.
how you got to depend on him and not yourself. You got to depend on him. You got to depend on him.
Right.
That's all we got. And that's enough for me.
Come on.
That's enough for me. Man can't do nothing for me. It's what God can do for me. And
Mm,
it's what God can do for you.
mm.
All of these broken people out here in this world, all of this brokenness, all of these people that's living their life off of their traumas, all of these people that's been holding themselves back, not reaching their full potential because they feel like people can see their scars.
Mm,
All because you think that people can see your scars.
mm-hmm.
And you hold yourself back. You dumb yourself down for a man.
Yes.
You
Mm-hmm.
dumb yourself down for a man. Because I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to tell you, that has been my story. I've done that
Mm-hmm.
to make them feel like they accomplished.
Come on. Wow.
But that comes from you not healing
Right.
because you want the best. God wants the best for you, but you got to
Right.
want it for yourself.
You gotta
If you
want.
want to heal, you got to want to heal.
Right.
That necessity and determination
Mm-hmm.
is important on the end of wound.
Mm. I have a question.
Okay.
So one of the guests said, "What is your perspective on the use of medication during the healing process?" So not only do we have the external medication that we
Mhm.
take, but what about the medication we take, like whether it be we develop anxiety, depression, you know, things like that. So what is your perspective on the use of the medication during your healing process?
I'm going to tell you my true perspective on that. I look at it like God has brought forth doctors and
Right.
scientists and all of these different people for a reason. A
Right.
lot of people are not into taking medication. I get that and I understand that wholeheartedly. If you can't do a natural, if your anxiety is on 10, you've got to have something to be able to control that.
Right. 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 Right.
You can't sit around here and be all jacked up and
Mm,
need something to calm
me.
you down,
Right.
need something to help you to focus. That don't mean that you have to be on it forever.
Right.
That
Right.
mean that temporarily I need this for right
Come
now.
on.
You might be taking it for every day for the first 2 months and every other day for the next 2 months after that and once a
Mhm.
week until you get your bearings.
Hey.
Until you get your bearings. I'm not against it. I tell you that. I'm
Mm,
definitely not against it.
right.
I'm against too much of it.
Right.
But I won't let nobody misdiagnose me. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because people put
Right.
labels and stereotypes on people. They put labels on you. Oh, because your mama was bipolar. Oh,
Mm.
because your daddy was bipolar.
Oh, come on.
We're
You
going to give you bipolar medication. But you
come
ain't
on.
bipolar. You just hurting from something that happened to you. That
Good
don't
God.
make that your story. Their story is not
Right.
your story.
You better
That
stop.
don't make it your story.
My God.
That don't make it your story. It don't. It really don't. Again, it doesn't define you at all. What your mom and them did. Listen. Okay. Ooh, that just came in.
Ooh.
Will you heal enough? Will you heal enough to break the generational curses?
Mm.
What if you were the one that was designed to
Oh,
break those curses?
come on.
What if God said to you, we got to get you together because you got some work to do.
Come on.
You got work to do. Like I was just talking to my daughter about generational curses. We're all teen moms. We're all teen moms. And it was way back then. But mom and them all had kids early back then.
Mm-hmm.
They
Mm-hmm.
all had kids back then,
Mm-hmm.
early. But then I had kids. By the time I was 19, I had 3 kids.
Come on. Wow.
I had 3 by the time I was 19.
Mm-hmm.
But I was telling my daughter it's important for us to pray against and for us to come against this teen pregnancy in the
Right.
family. It
Right.
has to be broken.
Right.
My daughter was a teen mother, but her daughter is not going to be a teen mom.
Hey, come on.
She's not. She's not. She is not. Somebody's going to have to break the generational curses. Somebody's going to have to stand up.
Somebody.
Somebody is going to have to put the full armor on. Somebody's going to have to speak
Somebody.
against all of this craziness in the family.
Come
Somebody's
on.
going to have to speak against domestic violence. Somebody's going to have to speak against the rape. Somebody's going to have to speak against the molestation.
Come
Somebody's
on.
going to have to just speak up. Somebody's
Somebody.
going to have to put on their prayer shawl and go down
Hey,
on their knees
come on.
until their knees got bruises on them for their
Woo!
family. Somebody's going to have to do it. Somebody got to do it because something has got to break. Something has got to break. If I am the one that God has
Come on.
designed for my family to have generational wealth, then I am going to do just that.
Come on.
If God said to me that these curses are over your family from grandmama and them, you got to be the one to do it.
Mm.
We don't go through all this hell for nothing.
Mm-mm-mm.
We don't. We
Right.
don't. So every last one of those, everything that grandmama and them had, all of the generational wealth that grandmama and them had, I'm coming for it, Satan.
Ha ha.
Don't play with me.
Come on.
I'm coming for it. You know why? The reason why I'm coming for it is because my family deserves it.
Come on.
Because my family has worked hard for it.
Come on.
Because God has blessed us with it. And God said that it is ours. And we're taking it. We're taking it.
Come on.
So all of that living from what is it called, pillar to post,
Come
or
on.
living that life of poverty, no
Mm.
more.
No
No
more.
more. Somebody has to stand up in the family.
Mm.
Somebody has to be the one. Everybody can't be sitting back looking at one person. Everybody can't be sitting back just looking like, oh, no, he ain't talking to me. No, guess what? We're going to go through stuff regardless.
Mm.
If Satan ain't messing with you, it's because he already got you.
Ooh.
It's because he already got you. He don't need to come for you when he already got you. He been coming for my head for a long time.
Wonder why.
Because one thing about him is that he sees it and
Right.
he's trying to break it.
Come
And
on.
with a lot of women, he's breaking women through their relationships.
Mm.
He's breaking women through the words that come out of their spouses or boyfriend or whatever through their mouths. He's
Mm.
breaking them in that way so that what God has for them cannot come forth.
Mm.
So he's trying to break them. He's trying to bring up to them. Now you know you was raped and you can't do that.
Mm.
Now you know you can't try to give somebody some advice on something
Ooh.
because you went through that. Now you know. You look, now you know
Now
that
you.
even when you become healed from the alcoholism and the drugs, now you know you want to go smoke that.
Ha.
Now you know you want to go drink that. So finally you start going to church and you decide I'm gonna give my life to God. And
Mm.
you decide you want to get in the choir. You want to sing for the Lord.
Mm.
Look like you want to sing for the Lord.
Good Lord.
And you know that you can sing, but as soon as you get ready to open your mouth, Satan say, now
Ooh.
you know
You
all
ain't
that
got.
alcohol and stuff is spewing out. People know what you was doing.
Mm.
So what if they knew what you was doing? So what? But every time I open my mouth to praise and do worship to my God, those layers are breaking off of me.
Come on.
What people thought that they seen before, they'll never see again.
Right.
Only thing they'll see is what God says that they gonna see.
Mm.
But God allows us to do certain things so we can reach certain people.
Right.
He allows us to go through this stuff to reach his people, just to reach certain people. That's unreachable. That's unreachable. I can't teach an alcoholic about alcohol unless I was an alcoholic,
Right.
about
Right.
freeing them up from
Right.
alcohol
Right. Come
or drug
on.
abuse or prostitution.
Right.
I can't.
Mm.
So I had to go through the domestic violence so I can help that woman that wants to come out. I had
Mm.
to go through the rape so I can help that woman know that she can be healed.
Come on.
But you still got to tap into that and go talk to the old who happened to, the one that happened to the 14-year-old.
Right. Right.
Forgiveness,
Right.
and loving, learning how to love yourself all over again.
Oh
Self-love
my God.
redefined,
Redefined. Ah.
you know, the
Ah.
redefinition of who you are.
Right.
God will show you. He will redefine you who you are. And
Mm.
people will see something totally different.
My God.
Well, I was about to say, and I yield the mic. This is not Clubhouse.
This is not Clubhouse, but I hear my mic. Woo! This has been. I should have had this way could be on Clubhouse because this year has been good. We've got a lot of comments. I've been sharing it, and these queens have been helped on today. These.
Can you ask them if if their questions have been answered? I mean, did they need more elaboration or anything? Just
Do y'all have the queens? Do y'all have any more questions? Because we live. This is time to get these questions out. Do you have any questions for the woman of God? She is here to answer any questions. She's an author, visionary author. Hey, you need her to come speak for you. You want to have a virtual conference. She's here. You have anything to dealing with domestic sexual violence, domestic violence. She's the one if you want someone to talk to. Do you have anything about any other form of abuse? She's been physically abused, she's been sexually abused, you know.
mentally, emotional, psychological,
Oh,
financial.
all the codes. Any codes you got, you want to talk about, you want to ask her. So And as I'm one of them, she's I totally enjoy my questions and concerns have been answered. Thank you, Queen Toy. That's fine. I
Thank
was
you,
on the cover
Toy.
of her magazine. Thank you, Queen Toy.
All
Yes,
right,
yes.
Toy.
So look her up, Queen Toy. This one right here, Dr. Wendy Rhodes. You gotta connect with her. Definitely make sure you connect with her. Okay. Amen. So
Yes.
this has been a blessing. I think that was the other queen asked about the medication. One of the other queens asked about the release and letting go from your body. And she didn't ask any more questions. So you must have answered her question, Queen Vicky. And they have been really commenting on here. I've been sharing the comments, so you'll be able to see that once you
Mhm.
get off the show. But this has been a blessing. Can you tell us
Yes.
how everyone can reach you? Thank you, Queen Vicky. How can everyone reach you so that they can um, reach out to you, maybe ask you more questions, maybe can do virtual calls with you so y'all can do, you know, hey, healing conferences, virtual conference, doing like how you and I are talking. You can talk to them about things they may be going through and this is good. So let us know.
Yes. Well, I do have a website, and my website is selfloveredefined.com. My email is selfloveredefined@gmail.com. And also, I am going to be starting a group coaching session starting next month.
Mm,
And if you want to be a part of that, or I have a free 15-minute consultation, and that's on my website, and it's through Calendly. And yes, I have group coaching, and I also have one-on-one. What I noticed is a lot of people prefer the group coaching because it helps them to be able to open up, to hear other people open up. But
right,
that's what God wants. He wants us to be able to open up. You can't
right.
stay bound with any of that.
Mm.
Hmm.
My God, thank you, Queen Toy. She said
Thank
I
you,
dealt with
Toy.
sexual abuse. It had me bound until I was 6 years, until 6 years ago. And she said, grateful to hear another survivor speak about it. So, amen. Because there's a lot of people that don't really come forth and talk about sexual abuse and how it makes you
Right.
feel, how it affects you, how you be having these triggers, and how you be having these different moments of being a grown woman. You have these baby moments where you just, and then why
Right.
she's emotional, because at 14, 6-year-old is crying out, oh my God. And they get put
Hmm.
in a 40-year-old, 50-year-old body, they're crying out. That 10-year-old, that 6-year-old is crying out. And that's why these grown 40, 50-year-old women have their temper tantrums and they're pouting and things like that because that 5-year-old who didn't have a voice and who wasn't heard, who wasn't here, is speaking out, is coming out. So, my God.
Yeah. Sure.
My
And you think about it. Eventually it comes out some kind of way. They're gonna start cutting up on somebody. Somebody gonna get angry. They're gonna get bitter. Somebody gonna be bleeding on each other.
come
Can't
on.
do
Woo.
that. No
Right.
bleeding. You know. Mm, mm, mm.
Okay, so I wrote there wrong. I meant to put group coaching sessions. So she's doing group coaching sessions as well as one-on-one sessions. So if y'all are looking for someone um to coach you all and y'all say, hey, I need to get this stuff out, I need someone to talk to, be transparent with. Because a lot of times, we're not really looking for someone to medicate us. We're not really looking for someone um to really tell us what to do. We just need to pour it. We need to get that toxin out. We need to get that mess out and just say, this is how it made me feel. And this is the way I feel now. And this is what I be thinking about myself. And then once you get that stuff out, instead of you feel like you're worthless, feel like you're dirty, feel like no one's going to hear you. And when you, instead of going through these phases of depression and feeling oppressed and these thoughts of suicide, once you get all that mess out of your soul, out of your body, once you get out and talk about it, you begin to be free. You feel free. And that's why you find a lot of
Yes,
people coming forth now writing books because it is therapeutic. And getting
it
it out
is.
means a world of a difference. And so that's why you get people like Coach right here, Coach Wendy, is because you have someone that can talk. It's confidential. And not only
Mhm.
that, help you with the spiritual aspect of it, and someone can listen to you and won't judge you. That's what I'm talking about. We're looking for a
That's right.
no judgment zone, a place where we can just be free to be ourselves and say, "Can I be honest with you?" You know, I had a woman of God that told me that through her coaching session, and Dr. Wendy is the same. She wants you to be transparent. So sometimes we don't know how to communicate because it's so much stuff and we haven't healed. So some people may use bad words, you know what I'm saying? They may say things they shouldn't say, but they probably gonna say, "I'm sorry, I should have said that." But she gonna say, I get it. I get it.
Exactly.
I know
Hmm.
exactly because she's mature enough to know what's going on. So I'm so grateful that we had this opportunity, woman of God. Y'all make sure y'all please share this video, send it to your family, friends, send it to them through messenger, copy and paste it through text messages and say, y'all gotta listen to this woman of God. So that just in case somebody need to hear this, even if they don't reach out to her, just the fact that they got the word, they got some healing, they got help, and they understand you are not in this by yourself. You're not the only one that went through sexual abuse, mental abuse, especially, a lot of women don't talk about the physical abuse. A lot of women don't talk about how they got beat, how you say poo poo, hoppo. A lot of people don't talk about we go and we medicated, we'll throw on some makeup and we'll make it all cute and pretty. We don't even talk about it. And we'll sit and say, it's my fault. I made him do it. And oh my God, I can't
Right.
go there. But I'm just saying it is so good. Thank you, Queen Patricia. It is so good to have someone you can talk
Yes.
about it and things like that. So this is going to end our session. The Queens absolutely love you, Dr. Wendy. Um,
Oh, thank you guys. Thank you.
we're definitely gonna be getting some people that's gonna be hitting you up and they're gonna be sharing this video. Thank you so much, Queens, for your time. And we love you all. And we will be talking to you later. This will not be our last time bringing her on. So y'all continue following this one on Facebook. Tell us your name again on Facebook so they can follow you.
Okay. I am on all social media platforms as Dr. Wendy Banks Rhodes. Yep, all platforms. If
All
anybody is interested in getting in the group session for November, today only, I
okay.
am doing a 50% off discount. Today only.
Today only. Okay.
Today only. Email me at selfloveredefined@gmail.com to get into that group session.
My God.
Selfloveredefined@gmail.com.
You
Just
have
today only.
can you tell us what the price is?
Well, it's for the group session and it's 12 weeks. It
Mhm.
is 1,000.
Okay.
Yeah. So today only
Today
because
only.
I am on the Nubian Queen talk show.
Come on, and you get the discount. Oh God, thank you so much, Dr. Wynn. This
Thank
has
you.
been a blessing, and we
Yes,
shall
ma'am.
talk again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank